Miss Drake, I regret to inform you that Game of Hearts will be formally terminating your contract, effective immediately. That was the language in the email Elena received from Apex Network's legal department. Apparently, it wasn't enough to have gotten fired over the phone. Instead of letting the news beat her down, Elena used it as a call to arms. This was part of combat. Front lines progressed and receded. Battles were won and lost. But that didn't mean the war was over. No, far from it. Elena slid into her armor, which took the form of a sophisticated little designer number as she casually called Petite de Lycée, LA's chicest French bistro. The entire town was clamoring over her and her indiscretions tonight. Now was not the time to retreat. If she was to dispel these rumors, she had to get out there. She had to get to work. Meanwhile, Logan sat at his usual corner table at his favorite West Side restaurant, munching on escargot, sipping from a glass of $1,200 Chateau Latour, the most expensive Merlot on the menu offered. Tonight's indulgences were courtesy of Elena Drake's public relations downfall. He nearly cackled when the hashtag #ElenaIsOver party started trending nationwide. The kill shot, a rumor of Elena stealing from her own charity, was taken by his brilliant fiancée, Ivy Monroe, but the blow was a boon for both of them. Elena's fall from grace meant they were one step closer to being free of her, forever. "Elena's already lost 800 followers on Shoutback, sir." Kevin Reed, Logan's assistant, picked out a garden salad, the least expensive item on the menu, and ordered at Logan's behest to get whatever the kid wanted under $15. Kevin scrubbed social media, giving Logan updates on the freefall of Elena's reputation. "I have to tell you, Kevin, wine tastes better when you know your ex-wife is crashing and burning." Logan took a huge gulp of wine, right as Elena Drake herself walked in, turning every head in the restaurant. He nearly spat out $400 worth of Merlot as she charmed the hostess. It wasn't just that Elena dared to show her face amongst the swirling rumors of her fraudulent actions. It was that she did so while looking so drop-dead gorgeous. The lines of her collarbone begged to be kissed, and her toned-tan legs, which never seemed to stop, beckoned to be climbed. "Are you okay, sir?" It was a question Logan genuinely didn't know how to answer. "I'm fine. Stay here." Logan watched Elena boldly sashay towards the bar. He followed, intercepting her right as she made eye contact with the bartender. "She'll have a vodka on the rocks with a twist of lemon. That is your standing order, right?" Logan honed in on Elena, searching her face for dried tears or a strained smile, something to tell the story of the pain she was in. "Sparkling water, please." The words came smoothly off her tongue. She faced Logan, careful, but not to betray a single emotion. "I hear in this town you can be a fraud or drunk, but not both, so." Elena smiled at him, punctuating her quip. Logan could feel his knees weaken just a bit. Beautiful and smart. It was a deadly combination. "It seems you have a real reputation problem on your hands, Elena. You could always come over to the agency. We're experts at handling these sorts of things. I'd say we'd offer it pro bono, but you seem to have cash to spare." Elena erupted in laughter. It caught Logan off guard. Something about her cackle was both unhinged and all-knowing. The bartender handed Elena her water, which she took with a gracious smile. "Logan, Logan, Logan. Do you know what your problem is? You're always playing checkers while the rest of us are playing chess." Logan watched as Elena made her way towards the private dining area of the restaurant. She was being cocky, and despite the upper hand he knew he had, it made him nervous. Elena entered the private dining room she had on reserve, a skip in her step. She thought Logan might be here tonight. After all, he was the one who introduced her to the delights of French cuisine. He came here to celebrate the closing of all his deals, and she had an inkling that he'd be reveling in her downfall tonight. So predictable. You look quite jovial for a woman accused of defrauding disaster victims. I'd be impressed if I wasn't the one who had to clean the mess up. Elena shook herself from her private elation to find Grayson and Maggie Torres already seated. Maggie, they're all lies. Grayson jumped to his big sister's defense. The truth doesn't matter. This isn't a court case. We're at the mercy of public perception. We say Elena's not a fraud, and then she looks 10 times guiltier. Maggie's right, Gray. I can't just talk my way out of this. So, what do I do? Maggie laid out her crisis management plan. First, you make a public statement of apology. You validate the serious nature of these claims and vow to look into each and every one of them. If money was stolen from these victims, you will get to the bottom of it. Then we parade you around like your Mother Teresa herself. I want you kissing babies with cleft palates, hugging illiterate blue-collar workers, and building houses in every low-income zip code this city has. You up for it, sis? I'll do anything if it means making Ivy Monroe and Logan Bennett eat shit. Now, let me read this public statement you've drummed up. Maggie pulled a piece of paper from her briefcase and slid it across to Elena. Just as Elena's eyes fell on the first sentence, their phones sounded off with a flurry of alerts. Holy shit, E. Vera DeBow just posted a video to Shoutback defending you. Vera DeBow, as in the wildly successful fashion designer? Maggie couldn't wrap her mind around Elena's connection to the artist. We went to boarding school together. Great. What did she say? Grayson played the video for Elena and Maggie. Vera's perfectly contoured face filled the screen. What is happening to Elena Drake is an absolute outrage. She is the victim of a highly orchestrated smear campaign. I know Elena personally. The work she does through her various charities has helped millions of people around the world, which is why my company and fashion line, Ma Petite, will donate $5 million to Elena's organization, Better Together. I stand by Elena. I hope you will, too. As the video ended, the number of watches and reports soared. Other luxury brands, fashion houses, and major celebrities posted their message of support for Elena. Maggie turned to Elena, agog. You, my friend, just hit the public relations lottery. No, you did. The women shared a laugh, both grateful for their cosmic intervention. Logan Bennett, however, wasn't so grateful, as underscored by the wine glass he'd just thrown at the wall opposite him. Clean that up! Kevin rushed to pluck shards of glass from the restaurant's expensive Persian rug. How could this happen? Logan was looking at his cell phone, blowing up with messages in support of Elena from all around the world. The hashtag #IStandWithElena rose to meteoric trending status. Even the president tweeted in support of her. Logan was beside himself. He went from feeling on top of the world to being gutted like a fish in the span of an hour. You're always playing checkers while the rest of us are playing chess. Elena's words mocked him. The restaurant's patrons turned on Logan. Their expensive dining experiences had all been ruined by his outburst. Their judgment seized his stomach. The mixture of Merlot and snails suddenly curdled on him. Kevin! He clipped his assistant on the back of his head. We're leaving. Having heard the clamor, Elena popped her head out from the private dining room, watching as Logan rushed for the restaurant's front door, his pitiful assistant scampering in his wake. There was nothing more intoxicating than watching a powerful man run away. An hour later, Grayson's driver pulled up to the marina where Elena's penthouse was located. Thanks for a great evening out, little brother. Elena reached for the passenger's door handle, but Grayson stopped her. Tonight was pretty lucky, huh? Yeah, I guess it was. Elena studied her brother's face. She could tell something was weighing on him. What is it, Grayson? You can tell me. Vera's video? Yeah? Logan's grandfather was one of the first people to repost it. Elena had no clue where this was all heading. So, it's a little suspicious, don't you think? The grandfather of the man you're trying to bring down comes to your aid? What are you implying, Grayson? She didn't like the tone of his voice, or where his suspicions were leading him. What is your relationship with Edward Bennett? And why is he helping you?